Hey, Soleil, and this is episode 219 of the Orange Pill Investor, and it's Friday, it's roll day, and I am finally, I finally have to shit or get off the pot on whether I want to pay to roll these bad boys, and I think I'm gonna have to. Um, I'm still on the fence about whether I want to peel off some shares to pay for it, peel off some long calls to pay for it. But my whole deal is that I'm intending to add long positions for the big rally. So this was a nice one, 116 to 131. So it was at 10%. Nice 10% run this week. And I was considering not selling covered calls this week because of the rate cut announcement. But then I started second guessing that decision because if everybody's just expecting a 0.25% cut and we get it, then the market's probably already got that baked in. If there's if there's no cut, that will probably be a surprise. And if there's a 50 basis cut, that would probably also surprise. And I think the future is just unknowable. The market is irrational. And I think the basic expectation would be that if we got a surprise and got a half a percent cut or 3/4 or hell even a whole percent, like, oh wow, that's good for that's good for assets, right? But because the market is irrational, they could just read a little bit too much into that and say, oh, well, the Fed must be panicking if they're giving us a bigger cut than we expected and the economy is about to tank. So you just have no idea what people are going to do when they react to situations, any type of announcement. So I think I'm just going to stay the course with this and at least do this for maybe 1 to 2 more weeks until the end of September, which have been historically bad months. And then maybe I will alter the strategy with my fingers crossed that October turns into Uptober. And one of the factors that swayed my decision is when, and I really don't pay too much attention to technical analysis, but last week when the price of MicroStrategy went down to the 200-day average, I could have said, you know what, that's low. And it's reasonable to think that there could be a bump from that. So if I wanted to give myself a little bit of a break, I should have not sold at the money covered calls last week when there was a decent chance that the price could recover. Now, of course, it's still a 50-50 chance. The price could have just crashed back, below the 200. And if it did that, we'd be looking at frickin' 80 or 90 probably, because then it would have to go and find support down here. So that's potentially the argument for why, selling covered calls here was still valid, because there's you're not promised a rally. The number go up is not owed to me or anyone else. So, but if it's buy low, sell high, and I already kind of sold low, then I think by me not selling high now, that just would be adding insult to injury. So I'm going to go ahead and just make it happen and go ahead and continue again this week. And I've got about 61,000 in buying power. So we'll see how much I have at the end of this. I don't want to use too much more. Maybe drop down to about 50 in buying power. But this being a margin account, I always have to take into account, worst case scenario. And if I was going to load up big time, it would have been last week. And I kind of miscalculated a little bit on how much these long positions were covering me. I want about 500 delta per 1,000. So I'm going to need about 1,000 and then half of 300. So I'm going to need about 1150. So to feel good about this, I'm going to need to add another, let's see, to get from 9 to 1150. I'm going to have to add another 250 delta. So I don't know if I want to go that all in. It'll be interesting to see how much delta I can add here and maybe dollar cost average these a bit, because I'm still down. Even though I'm up from last week, I'm still down like 50% on these. All right, so let's get to it. Maybe I'll just start with Tesla, since Tesla kind of doesn't matter as much. Tesla's doing well also. So I sold the 227, and let's roll that. I'm going to try to roll this for just barely a credit. Let's do that. That's giving me about another 2%, maybe 3% call away value, and not paying to roll. So that works for me. What did I go to? 235? Yeah, like 2% call away value and collected 2% in premium. That works. All right, I'm going to do this in a one-step process. I'm kind of surprised I didn't get exercised on any of these. So I'm going to close all 22 of these. Wow, 34,000. Interesting. And let's close this one at 131. That one actually worked out well. All right, so my buying power dropped from 61 to 27. That is brutal. All right, so let's see if I sell some at the money covered calls. If I sell 23 of these bad boys, what's that going to get me back up to? Is that for today? No, no wonder. That's for today. I was trying to figure out why that was pathetic. Okay, so that is only going to give me an extra 11 grand. And I probably, at the very least, will not add any. Let's see, if I add another 100 shares, or if I sell another put for this week with that premium I collected, look like another 500 bucks. All right, so let's see how many positions I need to add. What did I say? I needed like 200 delta, like 250. Yeah. All right, I can get 0.08 for 200. All right, 10 times that. And then options is times 100. So 8 delta for 200 times 10 gives me 80 delta. So that's already 200 times 10 is 2 grand, and then triple it. It's actually not terrible. If I get 30 of these, whoa. I think I just tried to sell 30 puts. Yeah, that wasn't going to work. All right, 30 calls is going to cost me 7. Let's do it. Now I have 550 and 600. I have the 1150 delta that I wanted. So that works. And I dropped my my trade price down to 399, so that's cool. Yeah, I think that will work for today. Probably not ending up with as much buying power as I would have liked, but I do like my ratio of covered to uncovered delta better now. All right, the IRA. This one is going to be fun. So I can't even deal with these right now. I got to come up with $4,500 to close these. So let's just see if I roll them. Let's see what happens if I roll these to next week. Little bit of a debit. So let's roll these other ones first, potentially. Unfortunately, though, if I roll these out to 45 days again, that's only going to get me just so much. Let's see if there's anything that I can sell for a profit here. So I've got one. I may dump this one short dated poor man's covered call. I don't want to necessarily say it's ill advised. Let's see here. These long calls are up, so I could sell this one. That would give me about 1,500. And I got 3 of these leaps, which are down a little bit. And I've got 4 of these leaps, which are down a little bit. Let's just see what I can roll this for. The call that I'm selling against has the 100 strike. So if I roll the expirations out to 49 days, let's see if I roll it out to 150. 150 minus the $100 strike on the long call is 50. So that plus the premium paid here is 60, and that should be more than the value of the long call itself. And the long call is already worth 50. So that's actually pretty reasonable. I could actually sell the 140 for a small credit, but that's not going to quite give me enough juice. Well, let's see. And generally, I'm not looking to roll these before I can get, only just pay half price for them. So I would like to let that just kind of ride. I think I will sell this one to fund. Is that the one that I want to sell? Hold on. I've got 216 days to expiration. This is the one. Close this. I'm going to walk this down, try to collect as much premium as possible. Okay. That should give me a little bit of breathing room to roll my 3 covered calls. Nope. I'm still a few $100 short. Looks like I may need to peel off a couple of these as well. What was it close like 3? This is an IRA, so it doesn't really matter how many crazy trades I make. Short-term cap gains, long-term, none of that matters since it's an IRA account. So much more likely to make a bunch of weird trades here. All right, so this should let me roll to next week. I got, as long as I'm paying less than 800 per contract here. All right. Reduced by 3,100. Why is that? Interesting. All right, let's close them all for God's sake. Oh, I guess I added that to my position. Yeah, let's see if this goes. This should finally work. Let's pay a little bit more. Okay. All right, I got 300 shares. I got 3 basically at the money covered calls for next week. I still have my poor man's covered calls that I will leave on here. And I have 4 long calls. All right, that'll work for the IRA. And the joint account. Let's see here. I've still got this CLSK debit spread that I set up. Nothing to do with that. That's got like 6 months left on it. All right, I've got these 100 shares of MicroStrategy that were assigned at 144 cost basis. I sold 135 strike out to 45 days. Got paid 800, and there's no urgency to really roll this now. I can let this ride for another week or two. Currently threatening this strike, and that is fine. I've got some long calls here. Some long calls here. These are actually up. I wonder if I should sell either of those for a profit. And then I've got another long call here that's a little bit down, but kind of break even. All right, with 100 shares of MicroStrategy, I've got 100 at 170 uncovered delta here for just 100 shares. So that is more than enough. Let's see what margin is going to cost me if I were to sell a put for next week. Nope, 12 grand. Nope. Yeah, I think I've used enough of my capital here anyway. So I'll probably just let this be. Have a covered call on the 100 shares, and I got a bunch of uncovered long calls here. But I could add one more of these positions, just a dollar cost average this down. What is that to here? Yeah, let's do that. Pay a couple of more dollars. Let's see if we can get a fill. Pay a couple more dollars. If we can get a fill. This will fill. Come on. You serious? You serious right now? They want that extra penny? Is that what we're doing? Okay. Would like to move on with my life, please. All right, this account is all set. Let's move on to the 5K account. Might not be much to do here either because I did roll out to 45 days to expiration. So I have this one $10 call that's expiring today. Close it, pay $2. See what my cost basis is on this one. $15.75. Brutal. All right, for next week, if I bake 10% call away value in here, it's about $1, so that's about $10.50. I can get paid a little, like 1.5% on collateral here. Cha-ching. That might be the only thing I got to do today. Expires next week. Expires in like 40 days. 40 days. Now, do I want to add any positions? I only added about $15 here. I still have my 2 CLSK covered calls. I should have 6 Riot covered calls. So I don't need to add anything there. Does it make sense to add another position here? Tesla, not really. MicroStrategy, my average cost is 337. So I could sell. Well, that's my last Tesla. Oh, no, I have 2 of these. Probably want to get rid of these soon anyway. I'm going to dump these 2 Tesla contracts since Tesla is up recently, and then add a MicroStrategy position. Doesn't quite fund another position. All right, let's pay another couple bucks. 2.8. Let's pay another couple bucks. What? 2.83. Okay, cool. Finally broke back up against or past 5K again in this account. Been a little up and down. All right, so this buying power, Robinhood's like margin accounts are wild as hell. It's saying low risk, margin. It's saying I have 3,000 in buying power, but if I go to Riot here and I try to sell, see, now it's saying I have 900 in buying power. So this is fake news, I guess, this number here. I don't know what the hell they mean by this. But the real buying power is on that next screen. And so I don't think I really have enough flexibility to add any positions at this time. So I think that's it. That should be everything. And although I would prefer to have more buying power here, I think I needed to get to this level in order to get to the amount of uncovered delta that I wanted. And all right, that's it for now. Be good, y'all. That's fucking hilarious. I'm still recording.